Without any further ado, a huge Scotland welcome to Ashley McBryde. That was a long walk, wasn't it?
That was a long walk.
It was a long walk.
I thought I would run, and then I remember these boots are slick.
But you did it so gracefully. It's lovely to see you. I know that you've had the sound check no one really wants.
Yeah, that was stressful.
The airline lost all your equipment.
Yes, they didn't lose some of it. They lost all of it.
All of it.
Yes, so no guitars, no pedals, no the things that stick in your ears, none of that.
So tonight's a cappella performance.
Right. Tonight we'll be doing it with sock puppets. And we just maybe an interpretive dance. Maybe I could do that.
Yeah. Listen, I know that you'll have sorted this out, and we're looking forward to it hugely. So many things to talk about. Because basically this is about the third time we've spoken in a year, and so much has happened. One of the things I really loved was you described the difference that your life was before and now. One of the things that you were celebrating was the fact, I really loved this, that on stage, maybe not tonight, but on stage you have your own rug.
I do, finally. I earned a rug. Because you play a lot on stages that, they're all black.
Bit slidey.
And it's, it's black on the back and it's black on the floor. And then you stand there and they just you've placed your equipment there for a minute. And then you sing a couple songs. And then I got a rug. My first stage rug. And now everyone on stage has a rug.
Really?
But some of them are smaller than others. I won't tell you why. Those two fellas can earn large rugs, right?
Yeah. There's a rock and roll hierarchy about rugs.
Evidently, because when I got a rug, I suddenly felt important. John Party gave me that rug.
Really?
Yeah, we were both out with Miranda Lambert, and he was about to put it on his little trailer, and he goes, "You know what, man? You should just take that rug. I could probably afford another one. Like, you can just take it. No, you got your first stage rug, Ashley." And so I called it the party rug.
The party rug. That was the Ashley McBryde impersonation of John Party, which is very good. That comes as a bonus, folks. You got that for nothing.
No charge for that.
Let me just take you back, because last year at this time we were sitting here talking to lots of people. I wonder if she's here. I think she might be here. I'm going to say, is Pauline here? Is Pauline here? Is she? There she is. I can recognise her. Now, that Pauline there tweeted me. This is true than Pauline. Said, "Ricky, have you heard Ashley McBryde? She's coming to country to country." And, of course, she was right. You were coming to country in London, not here.
3 days.
So then we went straight to Nashville after that. And, of course, we met you at 3rd and Lindsley. And the rest is history. But one of the things I was going to ask you was, because we fell in love with your music at that point. Thanks to Pauline pointing it out to me. But one of the things, if I'd said to you, at that night, when you were supporting Michael Ray, and it was snowing outside, and you were 3rd and Lindsley, things were happening. But if I'd said to you, you know what, in a year's time, you're going to be at the Grammys, would you have believed me?
I'd have said you were high. I was like, I might be in my pajamas watching the Grammys. That's what I would have told you.
What did you think? I mean, did you get any inkling that might happen?
I knew that we were in the preliminary rounds of voting, and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, everybody gets a chance at the beginning, right? And then there's several rounds of voting. And I didn't even know that morning that the nominations were announced, that was the morning it was going to happen. Because we were in work mode, we were on tour, so I was asleep.
So how did you find out?
Well, my phone died, because I'm one of those people that lays in their bed until the phone hits them in the face, and that's how I know it's time to go to sleep. And I had forgotten to plug it in. So I woke up in the morning, I plugged the phone in, and it started going off over and over. You know how after about 3 of those, you're tired of hearing it. Bing, bing, bing. I just turned the ringer off. I went back to bed. About an hour later, I woke up and was like, I wonder what all that was on my phone. I looked, and it was text messages.
Really?
About us being nominated for a Grammy. And I was like,
and you were on the tour bus?
Yeah.
Where were you? Tell me. Where were you going?
It was part of the Girl Going Nowhere tour. And I can't remember what cities we were between there at the end. But I do remember that one of the videos, that the text that I saw that was on the top was a video. And it was them reading the nominations on CBS. So I watched it, and they said my name, and I screamed, "What?"
I bet you thought.
And then it overwhelmed me, so I sent that video to the band who were in their bunks also on the bus. I just sent it to them and said, "Good job, guys." I called my mom and said, "Hey, we were nominated for a Grammy." And she said, "What?" And then I said, "I think I need to take a nap." So I did.
I thought you would have stopped at the first place and had bought everyone pancakes for breakfast.
I would have if I made money, but but when I finally it really scared me, the fact that we were nominated for a Grammy. So when I finally got up, I walked into the lounge. You know, you walk out of where my little bunk is and then past where all the gentlemen sleep and into, they call it a lounge. It's 2 couches. And they did a slow clap as I walked into I thought, that's nice. I didn't have any contacts in. My hair was a mess. I had to brush my teeth. And I was like, slow clap seems right.
What's been the biggest thing that's happened? I mean, that's a huge thing. But I mean, when something like that happens, and you know, there's a follow-on. What in this last year? What are the kind of things that have happened since that happened?
Well, we just did a full month on tour with Little Big Town.
Yeah,
in Canada, which is, I love that band. Midland was with us as well.
Of course, they were with us. Maybe 2 years ago? I'm looking at the audience to help me out here. A couple of years ago, they're lovely people.
They're awesome people. They take really good care of everybody.
And they do a great show.
Oh, yeah. The show's a lot of fun to watch.
They take care of the support act, is that what you're saying?
They really do. Yeah, us and Midland both were really, really well taken care of.
And Midland were here last year.
And I mean, it's not like other acts aren't nice to their opening acts. Most everybody's really nice to you. They go above and beyond to be really, really good to you. They make sure that there's food you can eat that you can put into your body and do a show, you know. And they make sure that, they bring their kids on the road and you can play with their kids.
And is that because do you think, you know, the reverse happened to them, or someone was nice to them along the way, and they thought, well, that's the way to be?
I think they've done it. I mean, they've been in the band for 20 years. I think they've done it long enough that they know how to do it right. And it's people like Little Big Town and Miranda Lambert and Luke Combs that we were on the road with that showed us the right way to treat somebody on the road. That's
a lovely thing. But I mean, apart from that, I mean, that's a great experience. I mean, you know, did the Grammy nomination mean that you got that? I mean, other things happen?
There's a lot of stuff that
TV
happens
shows
when you're nominated for the Grammys that I didn't know about. There's a thing, I don't know how you talk about it. You know, you get a gift bag when you play like a festival.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like a nice soap in there or some local honey, you know, or some cookies. It's different at the Grammys. They take you to a place called the Gifting Suite. There's a room where you can take stuff. And
I'm glad you unpacked that.
Right? I was like, oh, you know what I'm going to get? If there's a koozie, I'm taking it. A pair of sunglasses, that is mine. No, it was like bicycles and like trips to places. And
Really?
I'm like, I can't use any of that. No, it was wonderful.
We could.
Yeah, it was really overwhelming. I think the biggest thing that came out of that, though, is much like a college degree, once you have been nominated for a Grammy, the words Grammy nominated go in front of your name for the rest of your life.
That's great.
Isn't that weird? Thank you.
And let's remind ourselves that this was the person who had this conversation, which we're just going to hear in song form, said to her by a school teacher many, many years ago. Let's remind ourselves of the title track to Ashley's album.
But when the lights come up and I hear the band, and where they said I'd never be is exactly where I am. I hear the crowd, I look around, and I can't find an empty chair. Not bad for a girl going nowhere.
Oh, the title track from the Grammy-nominated title track of Girl Go Nowhere by Ashley McBryde. I got to tell you something, and this has happened to me now every time. I think that first night, the club night in 3rd and Lindsay that I saw you, and I can't remember whether you opened, I think you maybe did open with that song. Would you have opened with that song, maybe?
There are times when it's appropriate to open with that song.
So you might
definitely.
open with it. But there's something about that line, and you look around the room, and the band comes in, and I always get a little shiver when
still
that
do.
happens. You get a shiver too, but I mean,
Yeah.
I get a shiver.
Listening to it just now, it started to make me tear up, and I thought, Dana's going to kill me. My makeup looks awesome. She's painted all this face on my face. I don't want to mess it up. It changes every time. It changes with every stage you play and every crowd you play to. A song like that, the gravity of what you're doing and where you are sinks in every time. Plus, when the band kicks in, man, I feel like a superhero.
Yeah. And I mean, give us a sense of the kind of wilderness years, the years when it wasn't happening, the years when you weren't getting Grammy nominated, where you weren't getting a record out. Give us a sense of how difficult that was for you, Ashley. And you know, did you ever kind of come to the point and think, whoa, are we getting anywhere with this? Were there times when you almost wanted to give up?
Have you ever been on the phone trying to talk to somebody important and there's a toddler in the room? And they just keep pulling on you and tugging on you and there's like, you can't pay attention to anything and you can have that conversation. That's what it's like to play in sports bars for 11 years.
Yeah.
You're trying to have this very important conversation with this audience and they don't want to turn the football game down. But they do want you to play from 8 to 10.
Yeah.
But not so loud that they can't hear themselves chew a hamburger.
Well, that's very
And they
true.
want you to stand there all night, and then you can't tell if they're cheering because somebody scored or they really like that song you just played. And it might be in the middle of like a ballad, you know, and then they're like, yeah. Well, this song was about my mama, you know. And
the thing is, I mean, your music, you were always going to wear your heart on your sleeve. Your music is about your stories. And that must have been doubly hard. But if you're just a honky-tonk kind of go-easy kind of band, but your music's about you.
Yeah, and people we've encountered. So there are times that you want to quit because you have to get over yourself and realize that when you're playing at a bar, it's not about you. Nobody cares what your favorite song is. They only care what their favorite song is. And once you realize that it's okay to be Lady Jukebox, that sometimes you are the thing that is happening and sometimes you are the thing behind the thing that's happening. Get over yourself and play in front of a projector screen that's playing a baseball game. If you think you're better than that, then go be better than that. Otherwise, you better sing Fishing in the Dark for the 19th time this week because that's what's going to get the money in the tip jar. So there are times that are hard, but if you can take those and understand that just because it's hard doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. It's one of the things you got to do to be able to be sitting here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, looking back on it, and this is a slightly complicated question, but you know, to judge success then and to judge success now, I mean, there's different parameters now. But then it was almost day to day, presumably. Are we still able to do this? Can we still go and play tomorrow night's gig?
Can we still afford the gasoline to get to the next place?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whereas now,
can we still afford the gasoline? And the other measure of success for me was, even whether it was with the band or by myself, is do we still like doing it?
yes.
Because if you don't like doing it, you're in the wrong place.
Did you ever not like doing it? I mean, were there nights when you came on?
There were nights where I was, you know, just not happy. But some crowds are hard, and it sucks to lose, you know. And especially in bars that were a little bit rowdier, where the locals were these like 6 or 8 old men that would sit at the bar with their back to you. And my goal was to make one of their feet do this right here. But once I got that, pretty soon, if you can get this right here, and if you can get the toughest one of those guys to do this, that entire bar is going to pay attention to you. You just figure out who that guy is and try to entertain that. I still do it in crowds every night. I look for there's always somebody that yawns in the pit. And it's not because you're bored. I don't know. It might be. I try to tell myself it's not, that you're not. But as soon as I see that yawn, I'm like, that's my dude. That's who I'm entertaining the rest of the night.
I'm going to convert them, yeah.
Yeah, and don't feel bad tonight if you yawn in the pit. Just know that I'm watching.
Essentially, we've got a lovely live audience and we're doing some filming, but essentially it's for radio. So I should just, for people listening back to this, and it's coming out in a few weeks' time, Ashley McBryde did a beautiful thing with her feet, where the feet move first.
Tap
then
the toes
the
first.
head moves.
You can get a head bob.
And then the head turns around. The guy at the bar turns around.
The guy turns around and you go, got him.
We can picture that. But it's true. I mean, it's so true. I mean, you know, I play gigs, and that moment when you look around and suddenly people don't realize it, but someone who's really into it just makes you feel great as well, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.
Makes
It
you
does.
Makes you feel. Do you think what was the big break? What was the thing that happened that changed you from being that person playing at sports bars to where you are now? I mean, was there one thing or?
Well, there was, but it was more like a period of time because there was, at one point, I was in Topeka, Kansas, opening for Willie Nelson. And then the next night, I played at, oh gosh, I can't remember the title of the restaurant ends in burger. And it was in Arkansas. And gosh, I can't remember. Oh, Sully's Pizza. That's what it was in Jonesboro, Arkansas. So one night, here we are. We're watching Willie Nelson. We've just met Willie Nelson. We've just opened for him. And the next night, we're at Sully's Pizza. So as the shows started getting bigger and the audiences started getting bigger, you'll never get too big for your britches as long as you're still playing in a place that ends in pizza.
Eric Church.
That would be, I would say, there were two things that happened. I met John Peets, who is my manager, and knew immediately that was my guy. And that's when things started really changing, and I was invited to come to Chicago. Eric Church said, I think you'd really enjoy the way our show works. So I went, and I was in catering, and I was just enjoying a meal with my manager, and over came Eric's assistant and said, Eric wants you to sing with him tonight. And my eyes got big, and I looked over at John Peets, and he said, yeah, he wants you to sing with him tonight. And I said, okay, well, I know all of his songs. I guess it won't be a problem, will it? And he said, no, he wants to do one of yours. He wants to do a Bible in a 44.
Wow.
And I thought, watch me forget the words to that. I've never played in an arena at this point. I've never used in-ear monitors, those weird things we stick in our ears. I've never played to 19,000 people before. And there you go, kid. So they let me go out into the arena and walk around. It looks a little bit like a skate park, his stage did at that time. And I just kept thinking, don't fall, don't fall.
It's amazing because one of the things I really love about Star is Born, the new version of Star is Born, is that in the opening scenes, I think it describes hugely how it feels, the confusion, the noise, and of being on a stage. Have you seen it?
I haven't, but I have a really long flight to Australia in a couple days. So
but it's, one of the things that's really good about it is it actually describes that kind of thing, going on to someone else's stage and it just all being a bit weird. I mean, that must have been, apart from anything else, just completely
disorienting.
Yes.
It makes your knees wobble. You look like a newborn giraffe trying to figure out how to walk up there.
I think, Eric Church is probably certainly one of the biggest stars we've had on this conversation. And also, his show is a great show. It's a great live show, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It never gets old watching Eric play.
Yeah.
And you can watch anybody in his band at any given time during the show, and they are their own show. Driver Williams is as much fun to watch as Eric is.
One of the things I was going to ask you about well, in fact, let's stop a second because you mentioned the song there. I think we should have a little listen to the song you're talking about, because I was going to ask you a question. Was it this song, the song that Eric played, that when you talk about people phoning up and a girl going nowhere and suddenly we were hearing on a radio, was it a Bible in a 44 they were hearing on the radio? Or was it a particular song? Was
Bible in a 44 never got on the radio. But I was told when I first became, I was just a writer. They said, one of these days you're going to write the song and you'll know it when you write it. And when I got done with Bible in a 44, I thought, even if it never gets on the radio, that's the song that will change my life.
Let's find out why.
He was something else, my old man. You'd see through a light like an old screen door. He taught me how to hunt, how to love the Lord. He carried a Bible and a 44, and they just don't make them like that no more.
That's Ashley McBryde.
Thank you.
Bible in a 44. And I think I'm right in saying it's a song about your dad, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. He's a huge character for you.
Yeah, character is the right word. Yeah, is a huge character.
Huge character. And I mean, when Eric Church doing it, is that also the song that Garth Brooks wanted to cover?
It's one of the songs he asked me about when he called me. And so I get a text message, and on your phone, if I don't have that number in my phone, it'll say maybe, and then whatever your name is. It said maybe Garth. And so I open it, and it says, this is Garth Brooks. Is this the correct phone number for Ashley McBryde? And I was in our management office. I laid down on the floor and just stuck my legs up in the air and said, okay, and I'm Batman. But I answered, yes, sir, that is correct. And he said, can I call you? And I said, yes, sir. And he called me. And, of course, the opening of the conversation, Miss Ashley, this is Garth. And I'm on the phone, and I'm riding in the truck with my friend. And I said, hello, sir, how are you? And he said, I got a couple of songs I want to ask you about. The first song I want to ask you about is A Bible in a 44. And I want to let you know that it is Miss Yearwood's dad to a T.
Miss Yearwood's dad.
And so that made me feel really, really good. The next song he wanted to know about was A Girl Going Nowhere.
Really? Now, did he ended up doing them as part of his live show? Or
Yeah.
one of them? Both of them?
Yeah, he ended up, no, it was just A Girl Going Nowhere, but he started doing that in Tacoma, Washington. He did it every night for a while.
Wow.
As an encore. Yeah, and then he put it on his live record.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he
Which is
tears it
amazing.
up.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing. It's been 2 years now since A Girl Going Nowhere.
Yeah.
The Grammy-nominated A Girl Going Nowhere. Are we any closer to a new Ashley McBryde record?
We're so close, you could throw a rock at it and probably hit it.
Come on.
Yeah, we spent most of January writing. We started picking out songs for record 2 the day we were done with record 1. Anything that didn't make it to record 1 immediately got put in the wheelbarrow for number 2. And so now I think we've got probably 40 or 50 songs piled up. I spent a lot of January writing. And when we get back from being gone, I'll spend most of April finishing up, making sure there's not any more songs in that guitar. We'll shake it for all it's worth. I'm going to write like I owe myself money.
And
I do.
I'm right. I'm right. It was Jay Joyce that produced the first record.
Yeah, Jay Joyce.
Who's really a man on fire at the moment. I mean, just to give the audience a sense of it, your record, the new record by Eric Church, and the record that we like very much, the Devin Dawson album as well.
The Devin Dawson record and the Brothers Osborne record.
Brothers Osborne album has just come out. It's got that mad conversation at the start of the record. Are you going to work with Jay again then?
Loving working with Jay,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to break anything that ain't already broken there.
Yeah.
And you know, and for him to be the guy on fire and to be the guy, if you ask Jay, he never wants to be the guy. He says, I don't ever want to be the guy, because as soon as you're the guy, then you're just not the guy anymore. So he's kind of like, I guess I'm like him in the way that when we accomplish something, I go, that's awesome. What's next?
What is next then for you? I mean, about record, I mean, are you going to be, is this what you're going to be recording, or is this going to be the last of the live appearances until the new record, or what?
We'll start recording in May. And so we'll start, we're going to do, in most of April while we're writing and everything, we're going to do what we always did. We used to rehearse in my house when we were very first a band. So we have to have a little bit bigger room. But we go to this place that's basically a garage covered in fabric with no PA system. We'll just have amplifiers, and I'll bring in something to amplify vocals. And we'll take these songs that we've been listening to, that I've been writing, and we'll jam together and find out what those songs sound like. And once we've rehearsed that enough, we'll invite Jay to come in for a couple of days and talk to us while we do it. And then we'll go in and cut the record at the beginning of May.
That will be very exciting, and we will look forward to that hugely. And, you know, if there's anything as good as what you've done before. I wanted to ask you one quick question, which kind of sets up a kind of reader's question, a listener's question as well. But one of my final one is, there's an interesting little Twitter thing the other day about Maren Morris, where someone was saying, oh, Maren Morris, or some reviewer was saying, Maren Morris, how can she write these songs? Because she hasn't experienced some of the stuff that she's singing about. And someone came back on Twitter, which was really great, and said, well, do you think that Bruce Springsteen experienced, he never worked at a factory, he never did a day's work in his life, he never stripped out any engines, it doesn't matter. Do you think occasionally, as a woman in music, the people receiving the music have double standards? I mean, one thing works for guys, and no, you know, they're
Yeah, life's a
have
giant.
you experienced that?
Life's a giant double standard, really. And I would really like to know what they thought Maren didn't experience. Who are you to tell her that? And you know what? Maybe Bruce Springsteen never did bust his knuckles on an engine, but I'd bet donuts to dollars he has. And I don't know. I get it a lot with looking like a biker chick. I don't ride motorcycles because you can't carry a guitar and look cool. I don't know. There is a double standard. I think one thing does work for guys and one thing does work for girls. But you really resisting it makes the problem worse. Yes. So really all you can just do is, oh, well, that's very nice. Like, she's never even had a bruise. Oh, well, fight me in the parking lot then.
There's a challenge. I want to get some questions from this.
I would love that.
Very kind audience. And also been very patient because they're waiting around all afternoon, but they're here. David Isles is from Yorkshire. Where's David? Oh, great. David, Yorkshire, that's just north of England. So he's come a long way. And he's saying on International Women's Day, basically saying about the billing of country to country. I mean, you're one of 4 main acts on the stage tonight. You are the only woman tonight. There's Cam tomorrow. There's obviously Lady Antebellum are doing it. But, and I was reflecting, I mean, David's point is maybe you're the only woman tonight. That balance is not great. It would be better if it was 50-50, but it's kind of better than country radio is at the moment over in the States, isn't it?
I mean, by a long way. It's
but how
better.
do you feel? I mean, maybe you want just to reflect on that a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be the only girl tonight is, I mean, there are festivals I play in the States where I'm the only girl the whole week.
Yeah.
Or Carly is the only girl the whole week. That seems ridiculous with as many of us as there are. It's an honor to be on the stage tonight, the same stage as Drake and Chris and Mr. Lovett. So I don't mind being the only girl. I've never minded being the only girl. I have a big family, and there aren't many of us chicks. It is a weird thing. You're much better at it here, at balancing that out. There's a female every night.
But, you know, we are, and I've written a blog about this quite a lot recently, and people get some, you know, it's quite interesting reactions. And one of the reactions about the Scottish audience that read my blog was they just didn't understand why that was the case. On our programme, we are on 2 hours on every Tuesday, and there's no difficulty in finding a balance of women and male artists because the women are doing brilliantly interesting things like yourself, but that's not represented in country radio or in the country radio country charts.
No, not at all.
I mean, were you fighting against that? I mean, did it take a while to break through, to get played on country radio? And are you played now?
It's still a struggle. It's still a struggle. Little Dive Bar, I think, peaked at number 30 with very, very little radio support, which is kind of remarkable for your first single. And country radio has so little to do with music that it would make you sick and break your heart.
Yeah.
But after you find out what that animal is, you know, and you're like, this is a strange looking cat, and then it bites you and you find out it's a possum, you treat it a little differently. And you realize that pushing against that and being, I don't know if we can say butthurt on the radio, but being, I'm offended. Like, that's not going to help anything.
Yeah.
So just really what we do is we write songs we like and we believe in. We try to perform them well, and it happens to sell tickets, and we're excited about it. So it's not like we're against radio or radio's against us. At some point, we're all going to walk hand in hand there. I'm just not sure where it is. I hope I'm there when it happens.
So do we. Where's Angela Leslie's from Aberdeen, which is up north? Oh, there's Angela. She's asked on International Women's Day, what advice, you know, for a woman starting out in music? Any particular advice? Things that you've, you know, thought through.
Today, I spent most of the day listening to the new Maren Morris record. It's International Women's Day. She put out a fantastic project, and that deserves my support no matter what. So the first bit of advice would be don't tell yourself no. Everyone else will do that for you. And don't forget to pour everyone else's tea first. If you want support from your colleagues and your peers, don't forget to really give support. It doesn't matter what the industry is. Give support to the other chicks doing the same thing you're doing.
That's good. That's good. I think it's good. I could tell Laura liked. I could tell that Angela liked that. Laura Burton is from Dunfermline. She's sitting behind Angela. What's your favorite, Ashley? What's your favorite music to relax to at home? But you've mentioned Maren Morris here, but that's great. But what's your go-to? Who's your go-to artists?
Oh, I've got a couple of playlists that I use, and one is called Sleep. But there's no lyrics to it. In fact, I think it's mostly hymns and electronic music, which just bores me to death. Lately, it's been Ray Wiley Hubbard.
Oh.
And there were some albums of his that I missed somehow in the last few years. Hayes Carll.
Oh, we love Hayes Carll.
Tyler Childers.
Yeah, we love Tyler.
And again, the Port St. Joe record, I've never gotten sick of it. When I need to psych myself up, I can listen to Port St. Joe. When I need to chill myself out, I can listen to Port St. Joe.
Interesting. Yeah, great, fantastic. This is a good question from Ashley and Kaylee, who are also from Dunfermline. There's a big Fife contingent here. Where's Ashley and Kaylee? Oh, they're there. We're like, oh, there they are. Yeah, everything's good. And they said, well, who inspired you to play music? And if you, oh, two questions because there's two people. And if you could have a dinner party with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why? But who inspired you first?
I grew up playing bluegrass music, so just that entire genre. I was little bitty when I started playing a mandolin. And then as I got older, Dolly Parton, and I'm sorry if it sounds cliche, but it's impossible not to recognize her as a force that makes other people want to make music and learn how to talk between songs. I owe most of that to Dolly Parton. But there was Tanya Tucker, Mary Chapin Carpenter, Patti Loveless, Pam Tillis, Patty Griffin, Lori McKenna, people like that. I have a long list, I guess. If I could have a dinner party with anybody dead or alive, Carol Burnett, I would like to have dinner with her. Betty White, I wouldn't hate having a margarita with her. I could probably think of a few more, but those are my two favorites.
Just a side quiz. It's really interesting that, I mean, you were talking earlier on about playing the burger places and the sports bars and so on. I mean, your humor, you're very funny. I mean, it's one of what you do. Did that kind of get honed in that particular crucible?
Yeah,
was it handy
so.
to have it?
Yeah, I think it was a self-defense mechanism that developed. I'm also the youngest of 6 children, so if you can't laugh at them making fun of you, then you're not going to get very far as a sibling. But yeah, I really do think so. I was playing in the corner in a dive bar between the pool table and the pool cues. People had to walk behind me and get pool cues. So that's pretty humbling. And you're trying to sing a song. I'm singing Maybe It Was Memphis. And this guy's like, excuse me, darling, I got to get this pool cue. Like, And sometimes you're not going to get them. And it doesn't matter if you sing Lady Gaga or if you sing Janis Joplin or Loretta Lynn. If you can't get that room, you can't get that room. If you can get the 2 people at this front table to laugh at everybody else with you for just a minute, then you've got those 2. And then everybody's going to wonder what's so funny. They're all going to have the fear of missing out eventually. And you don't have to stand up there and tell jokes all day or anything. No. But, yeah, and I think part of my humor being self-deprecating has always been pretty funny, and my mother doesn't think that is funny at all.
I was just going to share with you the first gigs that we ever did where the toilet was right behind the drummer, and people actually had to go. They just came past me and go, excuse me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've all been there. We need to kind of wind up, but someone, Neve, where's Neve? There's Neve.
Hi.
Neve says, do you collect... Oh, no, so she doesn't actually, that's someone else. She says, do you like playing small venues or are arena gigs over there, for example, better? I mean, you mentioned coming on stage to 19,000 people. I've seen you play to, I don't know how many were in 3rd and Lindsley that night, maybe 300 or 400 or something.
Yeah, probably 400 or 500.
I mean, what do you think? Both have things going for them, don't they?
They do. They just.
I mean, one has a bigger paycheck at the end of the night.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I really love small rooms. I love it. I love it if it can feel like just me and you, and we might be in your living room or mine, because that's how I cut my teeth doing it. And I love playing arenas. We learned how much real estate is available on a stage. And if your equipment or if your leash is long enough on your guitar, you can go all the way out on that catwalk. Sadly, you can't. If it's not long enough, don't go too far because you'll fall backwards. But we figured out that you can run around and jump up on stuff. Now, you don't have to run around like a monkey, but you are free to entertain on all portions of the stage. So that being said, I love arenas. And I'm learning in real time, and you'll get to see that tonight, learning in real time how to make an arena feel like you might be in my living room or in your living room.
But
if we can bring you in,
yeah,
I'll run around your living room.
But you might need to get a bigger rug.
Yeah, a bigger rug.
Ashley, last question from Lisa Mackey from Lark Hall. Lisa? Oh, great. Who says, do you collect souvenirs from places you visit? I wonder if she's got, I don't know if you've got something that she wants to suggest.
Part of traveling the way we travel and flying makes it really hard to collect souvenirs. Last year I had to fly some scotch home with a different friend. It was delicious, by the way. And I remembered to bring my flag with me that you gave me last year so I can take it on stage. If it's something small I can fold up, I will absolutely take it home.
Well, she got one of yours. She got an Ashley McBryde T-shirt on.
Yeah.
Lovely.
The first time we met was at the Grand Ole Opry. And it was my debut. And they do backstage tours all through the dressing rooms. And I was in room 4, and you only get to stand in room 4 one time in your life. And that's your debut night. And they came through and and over here we have room 4, and we have a debut artist tonight, Ashley McBryde. And I was like, hey, y'all come in, let's take photos together. And they told me they were from Scotland. And I was like, well, welcome to the States. And then I saw you again my first time at C2C. I played the nylon, and you were seated right here to my right. And I'm looking at you again right now. I wanted to thank you for being here with me.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely joyous just to spend some time with you, Ashley. I mean, if you were one of our audience, a very patient audience, coming to this festival over the course of the weekend, you had to pick one act to see, who would be your go-to act? Who would you really want to see?
It's hard because I've never seen Mr. Lyle Lovett live, and I'm so excited about it. I can barely stay in my boots. If you've never seen Drake White perform, he is one of the most energetic humans on the planet. Chris Stapleton is vocally, genetically perfect. His wife in combination with him in that show is absolutely phenomenal. You'll never be sad if you go to 1,000 Chris Stapleton shows in your life. I would suggest you watch Cam.
Nice.
That is my sister.
Well, how many people are going to see Cam tomorrow night? Oh, lots and lots of people. Yeah,
Tell
she's
her I
great.
said hi.
She played a couple of years ago, and she was really, really great. I thought she was great. One of the great performances of 2017. We've run out of time, but it's been such a pleasure. There's one thing that we haven't played, and we'll just play it as we go out, which is a song that I fell in love with. I'm still indebted to Pauline for pointing that out. And thank you so much for that. Thank you to Ashley McBryde.
Thanks, guys.
This is a Little Dive Bar in Dahlonega.
Here's to the